Hey guys, this is Anthony from themovieblog.com and I'm here with my next video. With that said, I want to talk about this crazy movie I saw called Mindgamers. Mindgamers is a movie that I will give a low review score to at the end, but as far as ideas and concepts and things like that, this movie blew my mind. So let me start off with the premise of the movie because I think that's a little bit more important than actually the story itself. So with that said, Mindgamers does not follow a conventional concept or story. Mindgamers is more of a film that's an experiment, actually. So let's start off. The idea of this movie is that there's like a think tank of scientists, and these guys, all they do all day, every day, is try to figure out how to do neuroscience to help people who have physical disabilities. So with that, we're talking about people who are quadriplegics, people who are paraplegics, people who have motor function skill disabilities. The idea is that, let's say hypothetically, somebody who has spinal injury, the reason that they are no longer able to walk is because the nerve endings in the brain can no longer send a signal to the leg because the physical connection has been severed. It's not that the leg is no longer viable. The leg still works. It's got all its muscles, it's got all of its capabilities, but because the brain can no longer send a signal to that leg saying, wiggle your big toe, this is no longer possible. So what these scientists are trying to accomplish is try to figure out a way to help these people. But let's talk about how they try to help these people. They don't just sit there and try to repair the damaged nerve endings. No. They're not going to sit there and try to, all right, you came across this wire where they were supposed to be sending nerve signals, and now there's a sever. Let's fix that and reconnect that. No, they don't do that. Instead, they look at it from a different angle. I totally dig this concept. They say, hypothetically, you got your laptop. You have two options of getting online. You can sit there and take your Ethernet cable, plug it in, and you've got a physical connection to send data back and forth. Or you hit that little switch on the side of your laptop. Now you've got Wi-Fi. So that means the data is now being sent from your router to your computer wirelessly. There's no physical connection. So they take this concept and they try to apply it to neurological science. So they say, all right, why don't we figure out a way to have signals from the brain travel down to the leg wirelessly? That doesn't need a physical connection. The problem they come across is that since the brain is already doing a ton of things, this brain can no longer send or doesn't have sufficient power to send signals wirelessly to your leg. So what they do is they say, hey, why don't we try to figure out how we can harness the power of other individuals? Let's take their neurological power, help connect it with this neurological power, and try to supplement that to make this guy's leg move or his motor functions be restored. It's wildly mind-blowing, this concept, because it's taking something like a computer having a wireless network and trying to apply it to the human brain, which blew my mind. So I love that concept, but this movie is dense. That is not the dense part of the movie. Let me continue on with the concept of this film. So they start off by saying, all right, let's start experimenting on mice. We're not going to go straight to human trials. Let's start experimenting on, lab rats. So what they do is they take one lab rat, they teach it how to run through an obstacle course, a maze, and then after a few, weeks or months or however much time it takes this rat to learn how to perfect this maze, they then decide, why don't we start hooking up these other rats that weren't trained on how to do this, and let's see what happens. They take another rat. This is the leader rat. This is the pack rat. This pack rat with the chip inside is able to run this maze flawlessly. And the reason that is because that was a knowledge transfer from the pack leader rat to the pack rat. So they take that concept and they continue pushing it. This is not the dense part yet. They then say, okay, let's see how far we can push this, right? Let's take one rat, and it's very like a rabid, rat. It sees other rats and wants to fight. They put this rat in a crowd of hive rats, and immediately all the hive rats around it attack it and kill it. The leader rat is rabid, I'm going to be rabid too, and they kill him. The rat dies. So they say, oh, this is amazing, but hey, guess what? We noticed something. Reality is unique to your perception based off of my sense. But what if we altered what data was going into the brain? What if everybody's brain's data was altered? What effect would that have? This is when this movie starts getting dense, because they start going into concept of multiple realities, whether or not reality is unique to an individual, because you know what? Maybe my reality, I'm a black guy on front of a camera. Maybe in your reality, in your brain, your eyes are sending you the signal that I'm Caucasian. Maybe it's a little bit different for you, based off of the way your brain is interpreting things. But I'll never know, because my brain is interpreting things the way I see reality. That's when things start getting a little dense, but they go further than that, way further than that. They start saying, all right, the pack rat, remember? The rabid pack rat, let's bring him back. The one that got killed by those mice. What if instead we send, since we've got these guys all hooked up neurologically, wirelessly, we send signals saying that pack rat never died. It gets dense, dense, dense. So it has an amazing concept, an amazing concept. It's so deep. I feel like I'm in 1998 again, watching The Matrix for the first time. But they don't supplement it with good writing. The movie gets obscenely confusing. To this day, I still don't know if this was a movie about reality warping, time travel, or alternate realities. I just don't know. And it does have high rewatch value, because I kind of want to know what it was about, but I don't think it was meant to be something that people understood. Why? Because this movie was one night only. To my knowledge, this movie will not be in theaters. So how was this an experiment? Back at the beginning of the video, I said this was an experiment. As this movie was screening, it was 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. It was actually screening simultaneously in New York and LA and maybe some other places. But each audience member was outfitted with a device that went on the forehead of each individual and behind the ear. Why? Because while we were watching the movie, they were actually recording brain signals from us and capturing this data somewhere else from everyone in the audiences. So they were taking this data and trying to figure out if the concepts in this film were real. Again, great idea for a movie. Horrible narrative, because at the end of the film, when I walked out, because I didn't really understand that I watched, and I wonder if someone just stole my identity, I didn't really feel entertained. I mean, I felt intrigued. It was very, entertaining in that way, but it didn't seem like I was watching a movie. I feel like I was part of a survey that I didn't get paid for. You're gonna see my full review on themovieblog.com, as well as the score that goes with it. But overall, I think Mindgamers was a decent film. I thought it kind of went on kind of long. I did skip over a lot of stuff as far as when they were doing human trials and how they had this parkour player who then did this mind transfer to all of the people in the think tank. And all of a sudden, everyone's got the skills of Spider-Man. But the gist is that somehow the concept overshadowed the actual story, and maybe that was intentional. Maybe they didn't really release a film for entertainment value, but more so to capture data of audience members in a large setting. I mean, I had to sign a waiver just to watch the movie. But with that said, thank you guys for checking out this discussion and review about Mindgamers. Please look in the description. I'm going to have a link to the full review on themovieblog.com. If you like this video, please make sure that you drop a like in the corner. And if you're new to the movie blog, please subscribe. So this way you can join our discussion and have a say in the direction that I go with this channel. Until next time, guys, that's all for now. Peace. welcome to the movie blog. If you're new here, please make sure that you subscribe, and if you like this video, make sure that you hit a like.